Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Your home equity. It could be an untapped opportunity instead of an untouchable asset. Introducing HomeTap. HomeTap is an investor, not a lender. They give you cash in exchange for a share of your home's future value. Use it to pay off debt, make renovations, fund a business, or just live a better life. There's no interest or monthly payments to worry about. HomeTap. Get more from home ownership. Get more from life. Subject to eligibility, terms and conditions apply. Visit HomeTap.com to apply in minutes. That's HomeTap.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
What could have or what did bite you on the topic of what could have or what maybe will bite you? A deadly cobra is on the loose in North Carolina. It can spew poisonous venom from 9 feet away, according to authorities. The zebra cobra, which can cause tissue damage or even death when it bites or spits, last seen Tuesday on a porch in northwest Raleigh. Police said the snake, which is nocturnal and has black vertical stripes, escaped from its owner in the Brittany Woods neighborhood. Snake is typically shy, but will bite or spit its killer venom if cornered by a person. Now,
killer venom.
Its venom can be launched from 9 feet away and cause someone's nervous system to completely shut down. And if you're wondering, no, zebra cobras are not native to North Carolina or the United States. They originate from Africa. However, in North Carolina, there are no laws prohibiting exotic pets in the states. They did find the owner of the cobra. He is a 21-year-old, and he suffered a near-fatal bite from a green mamba snake he owns in March, an earlier run-in with his extensive collection of venomous snakes. On his Facebook page called The Venom Interviews, Christopher Gifford identifies himself as the victim of the mamba bite that required antivenom from a zoo in South Carolina. The case received extensive news coverage in Raleigh at the time. Gifford said his recovery required 4 vials of antivenom and a 42-hour hospital stay, but then he planned to continue to care for deadly snakes despite making mistakes. Notably, he said, failing to keep emergency contacts in case of a bite. In all honesty, I shouldn't have lived, and I thank God that I'm here today. Animal control officers stayed on the scene most of the day, still looking for the zebra cobra that escaped from his house.
Yay!
Our question, what could have or what did bite you? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Jericho. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola!
So I got bit by a iguana.
How bad is the bite of an iguana?
So the thing is, I don't think they really have big teeth or anything, because they basically...
Hello.
It actually felt like I slammed my finger in the door.
So it was just
it
the
had a
force
lot
of
of power.
So it's like a turtle biting you or something.
Something. They don't have a beak like a turtle, but they do have a pretty big head for the size of them. They got they're like a pit bull lizard. And he just bit the crap out of my hand. And like I said, it just felt like someone slammed my hand in a car door or something.
Now, is it a quick hit like Miles and the Parrot, or does this thing latch on?
He did kind of latch on, like, basically, I think he latched on just because he didn't want to fall. So he kind of used my hand to get down. Because this thing, he would whip you with his tail, like, all the time.
So this was somebody's this was somebody's pet then?
It was a pet that we ended up having at my house. We kind of inherited it when it was small, and then it grew really fast, and it got really big and kind of aggressive. And like I said, he had a cage kind of in the corner, and if you walk too close or something, or, you know, sometimes he would travel around the house, and you would try and shoo him back to his cage, and he would kind of get sideways and start whipping his tail at you. And so I kind of would watch out for that, but I didn't I was walking out of the bathroom one day, and his cage was right next to it, and he kind of was looking right at me, and he flared up at me. But he wasn't sideways, so I wasn't worried because I knew he can't really whip his tail all the way in front of him. And I kind of was looking at him, and I thought he was bluffing. I didn't know what he was doing, so I just reached my hand towards him, like kind of like, all right, what are you going to do? And he just leapt through the air and just grabbed me quick.
Because they're not pets.
Again, right.
They should be in an enclosure, you see, because it's not a domesticated animal.
I just look at it like this, right? You know, I understand. And look, it's an iguana, so everything that you described it doing makes sense to me. That's what they're known to do. But to Miles' point, you know, there's a reason why I have a dog and not a wolf.
Right.
Look, and it's because
we had a pretty cool cage for it. It was like a cage for a parrot, kind of. It was like all wrought iron, and it was like a big bird cage almost, not like a fish tank thing. It was just like a bird cage. But once he got bigger, it was just too small, so we would leave the door open to it. And generally, he was right in the window, and we had built kind of some stuff there, some tree branches and stuff, and he would usually just hang out right there and crawl around there. Occasionally, he'd go around the house, but he was mean, but he couldn't really hurt you.
Except when he bites your finger. Again, I mean, look, and this is just me, as a general rule, if we're going to have a pet, it's not something I have a terrible concern that it might attack me.
No.
That's all.
Well, I was on a vacation on an island in the Caribbean, and it was mating season for these things. And when they square up,
hot?
Oh, it was freaking really hot there. But they would
Iguana style?
They square up, and then they kind of flare what kind of a mane they sort of have.
That weird,
yeah, it's kind of colored, and then they get up on two, and then they go at each other. But the male bites the female in the back of the neck and holds on.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
And then comes around the backside, because trust me, I've got tons of pictures of this, because you know me, I'm on vacation, and I've got two lizards in front of me having sex, so I'm going to make a photo session out of it.
Camera.
Exactly, so I'm snapping pictures of this thing. But, I mean, they do not like each other before they have sex. The sex does not look very friendly, and I mean, they literally beat the living hell out of each other before they do it, and then when they're done, it takes like 30 seconds, and then they just run away in the opposite directions.
It's not the best sex you have, though.
It's like a one-night stand. You know what I mean?
You hate each other, you've been fighting all night, right? Then you have sex, and you're like, yeah.
That was one thing, like, we go to the parks there, and they all have signs about the iguanas, especially just to be cognizant of the fact that they are sleeping in trees, and they do fall out. All right?
Right, I do know that.
Sleeping. So, like,
what other warnings do they have?
As far as them biting and being aggressive.
Yeah, that's the part I care about.
The older ones on this island, man, they were 5-6 feet long.
Yeah.
They were huge. I mean, you don't really know. I mean, because...
How big were the two that were having sex?
Head to tail. Those were a little bit smaller.
Okay.
Yeah, they were...
I knew you'd remember instantly.
Look, they just ran out by the pool, and they started doing it, you know what I mean? Fighting with each other, and I'm just like, sweet, you know what I mean? That's cool. Gonna watch these two lizards have sex, right?
That's great, man.
Yeah, no, you just never know.
I know you were more fired up than that.
I know, you know me, man. I was like, all right, man, let's do this.
I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
I would watch, too.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, there's something about it.
Yeah.
It's too iguana. Look, they put it on nature documentaries, right? They go, here is the lion, the alpha lion, blah, blah. And it's mating season. You're like, okay, now I'm all in. And he chases her down. Kind of the same thing. It doesn't look happy.
Oh, yeah.
And then they get real calm. He's there for a couple minutes. He makes a real weird sound, which I guess is his finishing sound. And then he gets up and tromps away, and I'm like, I just watched this. I just watched two lions.
Dragonfly goes by, you don't think anything of it. When two are attached together, you're like, they're having sex.
Oh, yeah.
This is much different. Yeah, they're doing it.
That's the one time I don't swat at flies. Like when you see the two flies and one's mounting the other one, I'm like, let them go.
What could have or what did bite you? 206-421-ROCK.
That's
You're agreeing with that, Mike?
Speaking of flies, a bite, one of the worst bites I've ever had in my life was on the Jersey Shore. Those frickin', we talk about
horse flies.
Those horse
God,
flies.
it's awful.
Boy, oh boy.
They're terrible on Chincoteague, too.
They're real bad.
I'd almost rather have an iguana snap at me than be bitten by one of those horse flies on Long Beach Island. Jesus Christ.
My father was bitten on the forehead by a horsefly, and it was funnier to us as kids because, you know, now I'm bald, but I'm like 9 years old at the time. I got a fro. My brother's got a fro. My mom's got hair. My dad, he has a bald spot, right? The George Jefferson going on. And we're sitting outside eating dinner, springtime or whatever, and those things are so goddamn big, right? And we see this thing land. It's obvious to my father that something's landed on his head. Before he can even take his hand, basically this thing landed for 1/2 of 1 second for the express purpose of biting him on the forehead. And he screams all these expletives, and me and my brother could not stop laughing.
Yeah.
Even when he gave us, like, the death stare. It's like, it's just so bad.
Every time we bring it up, I get chills.
What, about horseflies?
Yeah, just because when you go to the beach as a kid or swimming in a pool, I mean, it's like you can't get away from them.
Nope.
But as a kid, I wasn't smart enough to realize what it was.
Yeah. And by the way, if it was for that TV show, if you asked me who I thought George Jefferson was, I'd be like, I don't know. Was he a vice president?
Yeah, if you
Just
get
got the name George Jefferson.
Oh, he had to be the president.
Oh, yeah, like 1807. Yeah, he was the vice president.
Well, I mean, I think he's better than those guys. They didn't have their own TV show.
No.
That's a good point.
You didn't have a deluxe apartment.
In the sky.
What could have or what did bite you? 206-421-ROCK.
Guess who it is, Ted?
James.
James, welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola.
Hey, this is the first time I've ever used this phone to make a phone call, so let me know if I am too loud or too quiet.
What?
Let me know whether I need to speed to... Okay, thanks.
We're the worst people to ask.
What, did you do this test every time you make a phone call for the first time?
I don't make very many phone calls, so just bear with me.
All right.
Okay, so let me know if I need to speed the story up, too. Okay, so this is about 7-8 years ago. I'm living in Albuquerque, New Mexico, working at the airport. My roommate also works at the airport. He was kind of my sort of boss. He worked mornings. I worked evenings. We lived in a house that was maybe 2-3 miles away, right across from the university. If it hadn't been a party house before, we made it a party house. I had a girlfriend up in Boulder, Colorado, about 8-hour drive, 1-hour flight. Maybe once a month or so, one of us would go to see the other, maybe stay the weekend or maybe a little longer. She was from Arizona, so sometimes we would go over there for the weekend. But it was pretty much a given. Anytime she came to Albuquerque, it was going to be, we were going to party. She did not drink. She didn't smoke weed, but she was pursuing 2 PhDs in neuroscience. So she was extremely fascinated in anything that would affect the mind other than alcohol or marijuana. She just didn't care for those. So my roommate and I, our best friend was a mid-level drug dealer. He was the best drug dealer I've ever had in my life. He was our best friend. He was truly our best friend. He was just our best friend who happened to be. We did not find out until we let him into the fantasy football league, and he had to choose an email name. He chose it with 420 in it. And we were like, "Come on, dude!" So that's how we kind of outed him. And then we found out that he'd get us anything. So on this particular instance, my girlfriend was flying in. I had to work that evening, and we had mushrooms waiting on us. I had done mushrooms. My roommate had. She never had, so this was new to her. I don't particularly care for mushrooms. He had a lot more experience, and he really liked them. But again, we were going through the smorgasbord with her, so we were just trying everything. Every time she was just like, yeah, whatever, just get whatever, we'll try it. So when her flight came in, I had maybe 3, 4, or 5 hours left to go on my shift. Oh, I should have told you this is more of a drug story than a bike story. So she flies in. I pick her up off her flight. I steal but I borrowed an airport van for a few minutes. Drove her up to the crib because my car was in the shop. That's kind of important too. So I drive her up. I drop her off. I go, okay, you guys have fun. You start your countdown like the general says in Dr. Strangelove. You guys have fun. By the time, I have no problem bringing up the rear because I don't love mushrooms. I'm more of a drinker anyway. But yeah, you guys do your thing. Get started. When I get home, we'll go from there. So a couple hours pass. I start getting the texts. We're starting to feel it, this and that. We'd already put in a whole bunch of supplies. We'd done this enough. Everybody knew what they wanted, but they start getting their cravings and they start effing with me, over the texts. And I just want to get home and, get through this.
What happens when you get home?
Yes, get home.
What? You get home.
Get home.
Get home.
Get home.
Okay.
Get home. Get home.
Okay.
We don't need to know you had a cheeseburger, use the bathroom,
Right.
talk to
They
your boss.
wanted Sprite.
Just
Let's
get the hell
go.
home.
I was right there, but it's kind of important to the story. So they text me and they're like, do you want us to come pick you up? And I go, you guys are already half wasted. Stay put. I'll take the bus. It's a 10-minute bus ride. I'll stop and get your soda on the way home. They wanted soda. So the bus drops me off at the Circle K, a block from the house. I go inside. I get 2 12-packs of soda in the cans, right? I've only got a block to walk home. I've got 1 12-pack in each hand. I am at our fence line, maybe 10 feet from the front door, and I hear a woman shrieking. And it's past dusk. I turn around and I see this large black dog coming at me, and I start to backpedal, and I realize it's coming on a lot faster than I think. So by the time it closes on me, with my right hand, I swing the 12-pack and clock it upside the head. 12-pack busts open everywhere. I swing my left hand, bust that 12-pack up over its head. It knocks me back up against the fence. By that time, the owners are on top of it. They're freaking out. They don't know how badly I'm bitten, but he got me
on the left hand as I was swinging the second 12-pack. So I'm like, stay put, let me go inside. This is my house. I live right here. Long story short, I get inside, and those two are like, they're like the kids from the paintings, the Tim Burton film. I mean, their eyes are like dinner plates because I'm bleeding. I'm like, you guys got to come outside and help me clean up these sodas. They're like, no. And I'm like, well, animal control's coming. I'll take care of it. And I'm like, just help me out just for a second. They're like, no. Like, neither one of them would leave the house. They were so... And I'm bleeding everywhere, so she's freaking out. And I'm like, it's not that big a deal. Just help me clean up the sodas. I'll deal with the cops, and you guys can stay put. But they went into the basement and wouldn't leave.
So who called the cops?
What did you do?
I did.
Oh, okay.
This is.
What'd you ask?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't so much call the cops. I called the non-emergency line.
Okay.
And
No, you don't. No, it does not. No, you don't.
Do you don't? Do you text?
Do I text?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 77999.
It would just be easier. Look, a couple of pointers. Do not say long story short at the end of the miniseries. All you need to say is long story continues. Short story long, I think would be more accurate. I mean, listen, man, you gave us a whole lot of information, and there were things that you insisted were important to the story. So we said, okay, we'll give you that grace. And then as you went through the story, none of it was. All you had to say is, I was bitten by a dog this time, that I was picking up soda from the store. It did not matter. That
she was from out of town.
Was getting 2 PhD.
And that was the party.
I'm sure she's wonderful. I'm just saying, in the scheme
from Arizona
of a story, we
she lives
say
in Colorado. It's an hour flight, by the way, or an 8-hour drive.
And I say this to my wife quite often. You say, okay,
mid-level drug dealer,
best drug dealer,
like a newspaper. See, what the newspaper does is, here's the headline, right? So the headline: man attacked by dog. Okay, would you like to know more? Then, before they even start the story, there's the byline. Tried to defend himself with 2 12-packs of soda. If you want to know more, you go to the first paragraph. But as you go through the story, every paragraph, with the exception of quotes, is less important than the paragraph before. So a lot of times, what people would do, instead of reading the 15-page article about how Congress voted, you go, they voted, Senate split 51 to 49. That's all we need to know. Then if we have questions, we'll ask. Oh, why did it split? Oh, it's just on party lines. Well, what was the problem? You break it down. Not, hey, I was elected in 2018. I couldn't believe I won. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. So anyway, to answer your question, you shouldn't tell stories.
But that was a good first try at a phone call. All things considered.
He also said, hang on now.
Very first phone call.
What is the question of the day, Miles?
Do you really want me to tell you that?
What is the question today?
What could have or what did bite you?
Right. At one point in the story, he said, it's more of a drug story than a bite story. It'd be like answering a trivia question, then you get it right and go, do you want to know how I know that?
But he wasn't on drugs.
Right, but I'm saying, the whole question, you called him to answer a bite story and told us a drug story.
It's that. You say, what's your favorite color? And your answer is corduroy. Like, okay, it doesn't fit here. Now, you might like brown corduroy, then say brown. So anyway, there were a whole lot of details that added up to nothing. And then what you have done is, believe it or not, your brain remembers everything. You can't always recall stuff, but it remembers stuff. You wasted all that space in my goddamn brain with details I didn't need to know. All you had to say was a dog. That's the answer to the goddamn question. And then we'll ask you the questions that we find relevant to. That's all, man. I mean, goddamn.
I was walking home from the store with soda. Neighbor's dog got out, started chasing me down. Sure, I got up to 12-pack. I hit that dog. Next thing I knew, the dog pigged me against the fence, and it bit me.
Ted, that is so well done. That's so well done. That's all it had to be.
I think we're going to take more calls after this break.
You sure?
What could have or what did bite you? 206-421-ROCK.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
When the hot water needs to be hot, when the drain needs to drain, when the toilet needs to flush, you need to do 2 things. Stop freaking and call Beacon. Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Mechanical. On call and there when you need them most. 1-800-FREAKIN or beaconplumbing.net.
Your home equity. It could be an untapped opportunity instead of an untouchable asset. Introducing HomeTap. HomeTap is an investor, not a lender. They give you cash in exchange for a share of your home's future value. Use it to pay off debt, make renovations, fund a business, or just live a better life. There's no interest or monthly payments to worry about. HomeTap. Get more from home ownership. Get more from life. Subject to eligibility, terms and conditions apply. Visit HomeTap.com to apply in minutes. That's HomeTap.com.
99.9 KISW. Yeah! You're in the men's room.
A sheriff's deputy had to deploy a taser on his own canine officer after it bit a cow while in a burglary call. We go to South Carolina. Deputies responded to a report of a burglary in progress on Drivers Lane in the Pleasant Hill community around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. First deputy on the scene secured the location with his canine and waited on additional officers to assist with entering the residence. However, a cow nearby distracted the dog, and the dog subsequently bit the cow, according to the sheriff's office. Now, in an attempt to protect the cow from injuries, the deputy then tased the canine as it was latched into the cow.
All right.
According to the report, the dog was taken into a leash control and returned to the deputy's vehicle. However, reacting to the dog, the cow then kicked the deputy, then kicked the property owner. Their injuries were determined to be minor. The original burglary call proved to be unfounded. What could have or what did bite you? 206-421-ROCK.
Wait a minute. There wasn't even an emergency?
There was a report of a burglary in progress. They send a police officer and a canine unit. As they are waiting for backup to arrive, the dog gets distracted by a cow on the property. The dog then approaches, bites, and latches onto the cow. In order to get the dog off of the cow, the deputy tases his own canine companion. The canine lets go. The cow then kicks the owner. The cow then kicks the cop. And then they take the dog and put it back in the car. There was no burglary in progress. What could have or what did bite you? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Jeff. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, man.
Hola.
By the way, Miles, Puerto Rico, prime spot to see iguana mating.
Oh, my God. Well,
hey, hot tip.
I saw a bunch of them there, but, man, Curacao was where I was, where they were just having a sex party.
Oh, really? Yeah. Did you see in Puerto Rico? They're all over the highway. They're like the roadkill of Puerto Rico.
They were all up in that national park.
They're all up in that ass.
Yeah,
all up in that
but man, that's not it. It's the bugs and the snakes. I've never seen bugs. There's no bugs on planet Earth like the bugs in Puerto Rico. There's bugs the size of your face. I mean, and they fly. It's insane.
How many snakes did you see down there?
3, 4, maybe. I mean, they're on the road. They're everywhere. Snakes kind of just do their own.
Ted's out.
Yeah, I kind of ruined my Puerto Rico fantasy.
No, it's a great place to go. Anybody should go. It's amazing. It's fantastic. You don't need a passport. You just go. Your phone works. Your debit card works.
It's so weird to have American money. You're like, it's money.
Yeah.
It's American money. Oh, that's right. I'm in America.
Yeah.
Duh. Hey, they're McDonald's. Yeah, because you're in America.
Right. Anyway, so this story is actually my son. He was about 4 years old, daycare age, and I go to pick him up from daycare, and the lady says that you have an incident report that you have to sign before you leave, which is normal. You know, they fall, skin their knee, incident report, bump their lip on the water fountain, incident report, you know.
Everything.
Whatever. Yeah. So I go over to pick it up. She hands me this paper, and it says that my son pulled down his pants in the middle of the daycare center, and another kid bit him on the butt.
All right.
So when they tell you there's an incident, what is the look on the face of the person telling you there's an incident? Are they disgusted? Are they trying not to laugh?
You know, I think these girls have seen it all, and it was just, you know, par for the course. She's just like, incident report, go up and sign it. You know, she's dealing with whatever else. She didn't even really bat an eye at it.
Yeah, you know what? I bet you're right. I bet if you're a daycare provider, man, I mean, kids are kids. They're, you know, they're going to reach down in their pants and pull out a turd and throw it. I mean, they're kids. You know, I mean, they're no different than a monkey.
Afterwards, I'm like, you know what? What happened? Why you get your pants down in the middle of class? And he said he was wearing sweatpants, and excuse me, they had a drawstring on them, and the drawstring came untied.
Oh, so he wasn't trying to do that; they just fell down.
Yeah, he was just trying to retie his drawstring. He's 4, so he's struggling with it. And there was some kid, excuse me, on the ground, playing with blocks or something. Saw a butt in his face and just, took a bite.
That's the natural reaction.
Did he draw blood or anything on your son?
No, he didn't break the skin or anything.
Okay,
He just took a little surface.
Just a friendly nip there.
Yeah.
But was there any evidence of the bite mark on your kid's butt when you checked him out?
There was a little red spot. Yep. So
just a little foreplay there. What could have or what did bite you? 206-421-ROCK.
We have an incident report. Oh my God, what happened? One of our students bit your son's bare ass after your son dropped his pants. It's nothing to worry about.
I would be more worried about being the parent of the kid who bit the kid on the butt.
Yeah, hey, Junior, come here, man.
Don't bite another man's ass.
Just don't do it. Right. You can get older and do that stuff. Do not bite another child's naked ass.
Not unless he asks.
It's embarrassing.
Do you remember the big blocks you could play with, like in preschool and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're like paper. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember a ton about preschool. I just remember me and my cousin would sit there and wait for other kids to build stuff and then run through it.
You were those kids?
Constantly.
Oh.
And me and my cousin are nice
devastated
adults.
my daughter, man.
Oh.
I mean, she'd be in, you pick her up and this is daycare, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're 4, dude. Why are you acting like the world's ending? Like, what is wrong? And it happened 3 hours ago, but it's just, I was building, fill in the blank, and there's always a kid or 2, Ted, that would go through and specifically destroy. And it's like, I don't care, but you realize how soul crushing it is, these little kids. I'm like, baby, I promise you will get past this. It's okay. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, and I'm not usually that person, but man, preschool, I was a menace.
Mm-hmm. Did it come back to haunt you one day?
Yeah.
I think so, right, at least.
Hello, Justin. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola.
Hola. Finally got on an hour later.
Nice. Sorry, we had a story that took a little bit longer than we thought.
Yeah.
You'd have been on it half an hour ago.
Laugh out loud. So I was at my friend's house, and we were asking for if he could stay, if I could stay for dinner at his house. And his dad's a canine cop, and the dog decided that I didn't deserve to have dinner there, so he grabbed my shirt and bit it and tugged on it. And then they reprimanded the dog, and then we all went our separate ways. And hey, can you just spend the night instead? So then they were asking the parents, and the dog comes from behind and just grabs me in my calf, punctures me with my calf with his canine. And needless to say, I didn't stay the night.
No. I mean, this is a trained dog. In theory, it is a trained dog. What was its problem with you, do you think? Or is it just being protective?
I have no clue what his deal was. I don't know if I just smelt the wrong way or what, but I ended up getting that family back. I got in a fight with the guy, with that kid. He ended up on top of me, and you grit your teeth to kind of push somebody off.
Sure.
And I ended up biting him back. So dog must have gave me some bite power.
Bite power.
All right. Bite power.
I got bite power now, player. Didn't have it before, but now it hurts.
Yeah, well, Ted, didn't you have the theory, and I can't remember what animal it was, but they would just be shocked if you bit them back?
I remember the goddamn animal.
Lions.
Yeah.
That was your thing. They've never been bitten back, right?
Right. Nothing else bites them. All right. I might back off that theory now.
Hyenas, right? They fight hyenas.
Yeah.
They will fight hyenas, man. And look, if it's a single lion, and typically the hyenas roll together, because they know one-on-one it ain't going to last long, right? But they'll show 6 hyenas, there's one lion, and they fight, man. And the lions are doing all the palm stuff because they're a lot faster. They're kung fu masters out there. But the hyenas, because they're trying to distract it, they'll get behind it. The lion's always spinning around. And they take nips at it. And my understanding of hyenas, as far as their bite pressure goes, it's very significant in the animal kingdom. So I think if you bit the lion would be like, bitch, you ain't a hyena. And that'd be the last we see it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think it held plenty of water.
Mm-hmm. I'm still taking the laser pointer.
Just distracted him?
Yeah, exactly.
Which I thought was stupid. And then we had a bunch of people that texted that and said, man, they show tigers or whatever out in the wild. And these guys, not a laser, but like a flashlight. And they're doing it at night. And it's just inherent in cats that they chase this thing.
I can just see myself on an African safari, the guy leading, he's got an 8-foot stick or something. He's got this pole, and I'm just sitting there with a 2-inch laser pointer.
I got you.
This will save me.
I'm going to bring my clippers.
Your clippers?
Just shave off his mane. And be like, oh, you're lady lion now.
Shame the lion.
It's too embarrassed to go back to the pride.
Sit still.
Yeah, go fight the other male lion.
Hey, I'm serious. I'm going to nip an ear if you're not going to stay still. What could have or what did bite you? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, David. Welcome to the men's room.
Get your neckline tight.
Look like
right, all right. It's $20.
Hey, I talked to you guys a couple of years back. You guys kind of gave me the title on the story when I was talking to you. It kind of called me Forrest Gump because it was a story to where I ended up telling you all about what was it? Something that happened unexpected or whatever that you didn't plan on, and it was something where you guys had kind of only interjected a few seconds, a couple times throughout 5 minutes or whatever, and just everything I was explaining culminated up to the end story. So unlike your last couple callers ago, everything.
You went through all that.
You went through all that. You just wasted 45 seconds of everyone's life. God damn it!
Yeah.
Again.
Well, the story I got is pretty short. But a couple years ago, I was waking up in the morning and laying on my back. Woke up that way and looked over to the left towards the door, and everything's fine. I just laid back, closed my eyes, maybe another second or two of close a shut eye before I got out of bed. And all of a sudden, I felt something come right up the side of my head and stopped right in the center of my forehead. And instantly, my eyes popped right open. And I swear, before they opened, I could almost see with my third eye on my forehead, which I never existed, that something was there, and it was rather large. I ended up, 3 or 4 seconds that went by. I'm like, what am I going to do? What should I do exactly? Well, I just flung the covers back, bent right over at the same time, and swiped my forehead with my right hand, and a 3.5 inch straight across wolf spider was laying right in the middle of the bed, and it had crawled right up onto my forehead right before I had opened my eyes or whatever. And I was 46 at the time, and I had never experienced anything like that for a wake-up call.
No.
But,
how long did that scar stay on you?
Oh, no. It didn't bite me. I got lucky.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was able to swipe it right off with my hand right in the middle of the bed. And, yeah, it didn't live but a couple seconds longer.
When that spider...
You can distinctly see the brindle striping without a magnifying glass all across the body because it was rather large.
See, now I feel bad for calling you Forrest Gump because I liked Forrest Gump.
Well, I think you're the one that gave it thrill. You're the one that gave the comment back.
That sounds about right.
It was just I just kept you guys kept wanting to hear more, so to speak, when I had mentioned that story.
Okay, all right.
So I figured, well, you know what, I got to give a call in again, and because I don't think anybody had a spider forehead experience wake up call.
I'll send on Adirondack.
I don't know, man.
I mean, nobody called in, but I'm sure people have been bitten by a spider on their forehead.
Look, the spiders are climbing all over you half the time, right, man? Like, I'm sure a lot of people I've woken up with a spider on me, and the adrenaline rush, like, I am up. Like 4:45 in the morning, you wake up, I realize it's a spider. It didn't bite me.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized what it was, and I had enough adrenaline, like, I'm up for the day.
Right.
I'm
I still remember the cries and screams of my father at that horrible hotel in Frederick, Maryland. He woke up and the ants were all over his bald head.
That spider that tore my hand out, man, that was 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, it's still a scar.
It's just a little mark, but I mean, it's still there.
It's still there.
It's still there, and then it bruised and a swollen. Like, I'm sitting on an Adirondack chair, and this is in Eastern Washington. I'm just looking, just checking stuff out. It is the
hoping
desert.
to see iguanas having sex.
And it starts to get dark, and I'm just like, I feel the slow, dull pain, and the slow, dull pain on my hand goes from slow and dull to like really intense and sharp.
Right.
Like needle-like in a second. I look down, and there's this big-ass spider sitting on my hand at the end of the, because I got him on the, the armrest, right? So I swat that thing off, and I'm thinking, I don't know how bad he got me, but I don't think it's that bad, right? Then all of a sudden my hand goes, it just blows the hell up, turns like blue and stuff, and I'm like, oh, God, man. So I try to squeeze as much of that crap out as I can. But the thing was, I was kind of hallucinating at the time. So I know for a fact that spider, he had the greatest night of his life, because I swatted him off. I didn't kill him, because I didn't think he really dug into me. Then I realized, oh, man, he got me. And then my hand was just swollen up for like months.
What is it with everyone swatting the spiders away? If you were on me, you would die.
This is a big guy. This was a big guy.
I don't care.
This is a big guy.
If I see you in my home,
you die.
You die. If I see you outside, we'll keep a certain distance. If you cross my imaginary line in the sand, you die. Mm-hmm. It's Thrill's rule with spiders. Like, bro, it's my home. You can't be here. Like, you can be here, but I can't physically see you. I can't know that. Even if there's 100 of them under the sofa, I'd be like, that's fine. Stay there. If I see you, you die. Man, there was one, it's like 1:30 in the morning, I'm going to smoke one more cigarette, I'm going to go to bed. Got this little overhang in front of the house, plopped down to my little chair, lighted my cigarette, and as the lighter hits, or I kind of lights up the side of the house, I didn't realize there was a spider about a foot away, and it's one of these big-ass black ones, and he wasn't doing anything. And guess what happened? He died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was just sitting out there because I was kind of messed up. I was listening to honey badgers tear up rattlesnakes, and I thought it was great. It was just like, it sounded like, like a Tasmanian devil fighting in the desert. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They were just going at each other, but you couldn't see anything. You know, I'm just sitting there listening to the fights go down. I'm like, this is cool. This is What could have or what did bite you? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Elise. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. Hey, guys.
Hola.
All right. So when I was about 2 or 3 years old, it was Halloween, and we were out trick-or-treating. And while we were trick-or-treating, this random kid, boy around my age, just walks over to me. We don't know him or the mom, and he just hugs me. I hug back, and our moms are just like, oh, that's so cute. That's so adorable. And all of a sudden, I just start letting out this blood-curdling scream. And my mom gets close to look at me, and she sees this kid with his teeth. It was either in my shoulder or in my neck, just lashed on. And I remember and my mom just like pulled me away. The kid's mom pulled him away, and she was like, I'm so sorry, and just rushed off. Never knew the name, never saw him again.
His name was
Dracula.
Yeah, Vladimir Dracula.
It was Halloween.
The funny thing, he wasn't even dressed as like a vampire, which would have made more sense.
No, it wouldn't have. It's still insane. Just because you dress to display your type of crazy does not make it okay.
Everybody growing up, no matter how old you are, you know the kid that bites. And kids have the potential to bite up to like the 3rd grade, believe it or not, until they finally get their ass straightened out. If they still do
I was a biter. Yeah,
were
I
you
was
a biter?
too.
How old were you when you finally stopped biting?
I don't know. I bit when I was like 4 or 5, because I remember like vivid details of like biting my mom and biting my Oma, and I was like 5. I was 5, I think.
I just know that we knew every biter, and we stayed away from all the biters. Biters weren't invited to birthday parties.
Donald Wade.
Biters didn't get, we didn't play with them at recess. Biters, you knew something was not right.
It's going to bite.
Yeah.
There's something weird about him. This kid, Donald. Now, Donald Wade, he was good for other things. When you're in elementary school, like, Donald, what would it take for you to eat a bee? He's like, basically, the request. And he ate a bee. How much would it be for you to eat grass? He was that kid, right? Stuff like dirty rocks in his mouth that he pulls out of his mom's garden. But also, he was the biter. So he was kind of like good party entertainment. If you just needed something stupid, this kid would do it. But he also might bite you. I know he snapped at me once. He never bit me, but he bit like 3 of my friends. And I mean, you're talking gym class in 4th grade, man.
Yeah, that's
4th grade.
Once in a while, a little kid, but 4th grade.
Yeah, little kids don't know. They're trying to defend themselves, or they think it's funny, and usually they get straightened out, right?
Yeah.
They're not biters. They're someone who has bitten. Biters are the kids who are like, look, you can threaten them, you can discipline them, you can try to reason with them. Everyone's explained it to them, and you know what they're still going to do? They're still going to bite you.
And that's the thing. As a parent, you can sit someone down and discipline them. Like, look, you don't hit, like you said, you don't hit anybody. You don't swing at anybody first. You defend yourself if you have to, other than that. But when it comes to a biter, you just go like, he bit you?
I know.
You don't even know what to...
You don't know how to approach it.
Like, oh, my God. Like, you don't bite him back.
Unless, I mean, now look.
It's kind of like spitting. It's just this you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's not.
If it's in self-defense, I'd give them a little pass. But like there's some kind of unspoken rules. If you don't feel your life's in danger, try not to bite.
Right.
Or if you're going to try to kick him in the jimmy, you better connect, because when they realize what you just did, you're going to find their strength has increased 8 times.
And that's why we always worried about Mike Tyson when he bit Evander Holyfield and bit the other guy. He bit 2 guys in his career.
Look.
So it'd be one thing if he bit one guy once. But he bit 2 guys. So then you think to yourself,
this is a biter.
What is going on with this guy? And I'm a Mike Tyson apologist, but at the same point in time, you're like, you're a grown man biting chunks of flesh off another man.
It's like Luis Suarez in soccer.
Oh, that's right, didn't he?
He
last
bit
year?
2 or 3. It's been a couple of years since he's been biting, but he, seriously, when I was saying he's at Manchester City and he bit somebody.
That's like, bro, you're playing soccer.
Right, but you're still a biter. Like
you are a biter.
You crossed the line, man. Like like the guy you're saying in Baltimore, man. He's like, look, man, crazy people will bite you.
He ain't scared of anybody
except for someone who he knows might bite him,
and he wants nothing to do with it.
Exactly. All right, a question: what could have or what did bite you? Coming up, the return of Who Sucks Less. You are listening to the Men's Room.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
For tank and tankless hot water heaters, for clogged drains, for leaky faucets, for toilets that won't flush. Stop freaking and call Beacon. Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Mechanical is your trusted source to solve all your plumbing needs. 1-800-FREAKIN' or beaconplumbing.net.